Ahe, molweni, sanbonani. Good morning. My name is Nomatamsangamdlazi. I create content on life, mental wellness, and personal development. And in this conversation today, I want to thank you. I deeply thank you for joining me in this wonderful conversation today. In this video, I want to share with you lessons from Cal Newport, part 2. This is part 2 of our conversation. Without any waste of time, please do make sure that you hit the subscribe button, you join our community so that we could grow together, right? And if you've been part of our community for some time, I truly and deeply thank you. Thank you so much. Let's go for it. So to carry on from our previous conversation, Cal Newport in this book, Deep Work. This book completely helps us to understand how important it is for us to focus deeply on whatever it is that you're doing as a person, to focus and fully immerse yourself in whatever it is that you're doing as a person, right? So the ability to go deep, to fully immerse yourself in whatever it is that you do gives a sense of fulfillment, a sense of happiness at the end of the day. And that's what we spoke about on our previous video. If you haven't checked it out, please do make sure you check out that video and then come back to this one, right? So it truly does give a sense of accomplishment, just really the ability to fully focus and immerse yourself in whatever it is that you're doing as a person. So he says here, you have a finite amount of willpower that becomes depleted as you use it. Your will, in other words, is not a manifestation of your character that you can deploy without limit. It's instead like a muscle that tires, right? So in this statement, he tries to show us that at the end of the day, most importantly is the ability to fully train yourself, train your awareness, train your mindset so that you're able to incorporate the right habits in your life so that actually resonate with the type of person you want to become, fully trained in whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing as a person. It is very important for you to learn routines and just adopt routines so that you could be able to incorporate deep work in your life and get to understand and just get used to working hard. Just get used to this philosophy of hard work, right? So the key to developing a deep work habit is to move beyond good intentions and add routines and rituals to your working life designed to minimize the amount of your limited willpower necessary to transition into and maintain a state of unbroken concentration, right? All of us need to get to a point where we're truly intentional about learning to concentrate, about learning to focus, right? About learning to direct our attention on the right things, right? So that we're truly disciplined and we actually understand the ability to focus and be fully immersed deeply in whatever it is that you're doing, because that alone has the capacity to completely change and transform our lives, because now we're able to build routines in anything that we want to do. We can actually get to be consistent every time we try to get on to do those things, right? So he says here, the bimodal philosophy believes that deep work can produce extreme productivity, but only if the subject dedicates enough time to such endeavors to reach maximum cognitive intensity, right? The state in which real breakthroughs occur, right? Just really the ability to the will, the intention to fully focus on the things that you're supposed to be doing will really, at the end of the day, reap wonderful results for you. You will be able to completely incorporate deep work in your life and get to a point where you could experience breakthroughs, right? Because now you're fully focused on the things that you're supposed to be learning every time, right? You reach your maximum cognitive intensity at the end of the day. So this is such a powerful philosophy for all of us to understand that we can only attain fulfillment towards life through our ability to go deep in the things that you're doing, right? And not really this thing of just constantly getting distracted, but really the ability to focus, to fully immerse ourselves in whatever it is that we're doing, to just fully focus on the project with all our energies, all our might, so that we get to understand and appreciate how beautiful life is by really attaining fulfillment from work itself. So in your journey of incorporating deep work in your life, it is very important for you to understand that rituals have to be part of the process, right? You can't commit to the deep work process one day and then decide to do otherwise the next. But it has to be a ritual, it has to be consistent, it has to be a habit, right? So he says here, by reducing the need to make decisions about deep work moment by moment, I can preserve more mental energy for the deep thinking itself, right? So it is very important for you to understand that you should make rituals. You should make sure that by this specific time, this is what you should be doing, right? You should be consistent in that. Understand that you have to block those times where you've decided to do a deep work ngazo, right? It is very important for all of us to incorporate rituals, to incorporate the deep work philosophy in our lives, so that it is much, much easier for you to actually get things done every day without really having to think moment by moment, having to think when you want to do whatever, right? Because now that will always open a space where you might decide not to do certain things. But if you decide to block certain times for your deep work, then it means that you will be able to achieve and reach your maximum cognitive intensity, right? And just be able to go full force in those things, to understand them deeper and get to master that subject. So one other lesson that is also available in this book is that by leveraging a radical change to your normal environment, coupled perhaps with a significant investment of effort or money, all dedicated towards supporting a deep work task, you increase the perceived importance of the task, right? This boost in importance reduces your mind's instinct to procrastinate and delivers an injection of motivation and energy, right? So what this means is that if you want to get to do something, it is best sometimes to actually put in effort to support whatever it is that you're planning to do, right? So for instance, let's say maybe you want to study every day after around 9 o'clock, right? Every day at 9 o'clock, right? It's very important for you to be specific, right? So the best thing is for you to decide, instead of studying at home, instead of studying at your house where there's a lot of distractions, then maybe you might decide to take the energy and get to a point where you decide to actually go to the library, right? Because that is a conducive space for you to actually study, for you to do whatever it is that you have to do without much of many distractions, right? So basically that's just what it is, that if you're truly intentional about certain things, they demand that you move from your actual environment and you actually get to a different space, right? So a space that will inspire you to actually focus on what it is that you're planning to do by yourself. So Cal Newport also talks about the fact that ambitious goals drive focused behavior, right? So when you are ambitious, when you understand where you are intended to be, when you understand your intentions as a person, it means that it is much, much easier for you to actually have and create a good routines for yourself and actually adopt a good behavior that is directed to your ambitious goals or whatever it is that you're planning for yourself. It is only the ambition, a sense of being truly committed, that will at the end of the day drive your behavior to be truly focused, so that you can get to do things, right? So he says spending time in nature can improve your ability to concentrate, right? So if you take some time to be by yourself in nature and just relax, it's either in the sun or just in trees, that is how you will improve your ability to concentrate, right? Because now those are spaces where your brain is relaxed and is just chilled, right? And the more your brain receives those states of really being chilled and relaxed, that's how you'll get to increase your capacity to concentrate as a person, right? So it is very important for all of us to understand how important it is for us to spend time with nature, go in the sun, relax, go in a garden and just relax, right? And I think Andrew Huberman also talks about this, that every day when after waking up in the morning, she actually goes and just to the sun just for a chill, right? This is really an understanding that nature itself is very important. We are truly just highly ignorant of it and its effects, but at the end of the day, it is very important. It is truly important for us to immerse ourselves in nature, because it gives us the opportunity to increase our capacity to concentrate at the end of the day. So he says the key observation is that there is a limited resource necessary to attention that must be conserved, right? So it is very important for you to understand that you should reserve your energies for attention and everything for truly important things in your life, for truly your process and the deep work philosophy. You actually make sure that you reserve your attention, your energy to concentrate for your deep work strategy. So Cal Newport also talks about the fact that we should, if you're truly intentional about building good rituals, about building a good behavior that is intended to supplement to your ambitious goals, it is very important for you to be truly intentional about embracing boredom, right? Understand that this constant will to always be distracted and in many different ways, it is a hindrance to your creativity, right? You should understand how important it is for you to embrace boredom, to sit by yourself, because that is when you can get to be creative, right? Because now you're just chilled, you're just relaxed in that space, right? So this is a very powerful book, really, that teaches us to get away from social media slightly bit, or just decrease this constant use of social media, because at the end of the day, if we don't really enjoy boredom, it means that we won't be creative to do certain things, right? Because we're constantly distracted in many different ways. So one of these lessons is that you should embrace boredom, understand how important it is for you to just be bored, get away from social media for some time. And there's a lady whom I know as well, who has just decided that she wants to go off social media for like 6 months. So that is when you can get to concentrate, you can get to fully focus and see things through as a person, so that you could develop, right? Without really living and always be absorbed in social media, so that you can actually get to reach your maximum cognitive intensity and get to fully experience yourself, right? That is how you can get to be creative, by simply the ability to embrace boredom. Social media itself has really messed up our concentration levels, simply because this is how he explains it. He says constant attention switching online has a lasting negative effect on your brain, right? It is very important for you to be constantly careful about really understanding that this constant switching on social media, it is the one that is messing up our attention span, right? It is literally messing up our attention span, and we should be highly careful of how we utilize our social media platforms, so that we understand how important it is for us to train our brain to fully focus on what it is it has to be doing, right? Just learning to concentrate itself demands that you try to avoid constant switching on social media, because now the brain will always get trained for constant switching. So the best strategy, he says, is to schedule time for internet and avoid it completely outside those times, right? That is how you can fully control your life and get to a point where you understand that you have to schedule time for distraction, schedule time for WhatsApp, for social media, right? So that you can get to do the things that you're supposed to be doing as a person, right? You actually train your brain, you train your mind to concentrate on these things, right? So on the other hand, it is very unfortunate that we live in these times where there's quite a lot of these things, and we constantly have to learn how to adapt to living in our times, right? Because now at the end of the day, we don't want to lose ourselves. We don't want to lose our lives, right? We don't want to lose ourselves in internet and in a lot of these things, right, which are available through technology. So we want to be able to fully advance so that they could be incorporated in our lives in a truly and a deeply healthy manner, right? So that our lives could just improve instead of us becoming slaves to technology at the end of the day, right? Is that a full day of scheduled distraction therefore becomes a full day of similar mental training, right? So that's just what happens if you just fail to remove yourself from distraction, right? You get onto distractions for the rest of your day, then it means that you're actually training your brain to be distracted at any given point, right? That is why it is very important for us to learn to fully focus on whatever it is that we're doing, right? If you're busy washing your dishes, you fully focus on getting those dishes washed, right? You don't get to be searching out for your WhatsApp or anything else, but you focus on getting the job done. You get done with the project and you actually decide when to go to social media at whatever times that you've decided, right? Most importantly, he says that you maintain the strategy of scheduling internet use even after the workday is over, right? So at any given point in your life, it is very important for you to schedule time for using internet, right? And actually get off it when you're done with whatever it is that you're doing, right? The more you practice resisting such urges, the easier such resistance becomes, right? After a few months of deploying this strategy, your understanding of what it means to focus will likely be transformed as you reach levels of intensity stronger than anything you've experienced before, right? So basically what this means is that you should constantly just always try to resist this urge to get onto social media at any given point in your life, right? And that's if you want to train your mind to learn to focus, right? To actually do something, get done with it without actually checking out on your WhatsApp or do anything outside that, right? So the best thing to do is for you to try to practice resisting such urges, right? The more you practice, the better you will become at resisting social media at any given point, and actually get to understand that you have scheduled time for social media. By forcing you to resist distraction and retain your attention repeatedly to a well-defined problem, it helps strengthen your distraction-resisting muscles, and by forcing you to push your focus deeper and deeper on a single problem, this sharpens your concentration, right? So the more you try to resist this constant urge to check out on social media, the better you become in that process, right? The better you become at resisting social media and actually get to focus on whatever it is that you should be doing as a person. The better it is that you are able to focus. Your ability to concentrate is only as strong as your commitment to train it, right? So most importantly, in resisting distraction, in resisting social media, it is the will to actually train yourself to resist this urge to constantly check out on your WhatsApp and Facebook, right? But the ability to fully commit to train the brain, that is only the cure to resist distractions, so that you could actually get to focus on the things that you're supposed to be doing, right? So this constant will to try to resist social media, you're actually trying to preserve and reserve your energy for your deep work projects, right? For your ability to fully focus on the things that you find they truly matter, right? Because now, at the end of the day, our relationships are at risk simply because of social media. We constantly check out on our WhatsApp and Facebook, but while we're actually engaging with the people we love, right? The most important thing is learning to fully focus. If I'm having a conversation with you now, it is very important for you to focus, listen to me, and actually get to understand what it is that I'm saying without you trying to check out on your social media, right? It is very important for our social intelligence for us to understand that we should learn to resist social media, and it is very important as well for our progress, right? Because now we can get to focus on doing the things that we were supposed to be doing, to study, to go to gym, to do anything without much of distractions, without being distracted, right? So without any waste of time, I truly and deeply thank you for joining me in this wonderful conversation today. I hope that you've learned by yourself how just genuinely the results of the Deep Work Philosophy by Cal Newport. I truly and deeply thank you. If you haven't joined our community, please do make sure that you hit the subscribe button, you hit the notification bell, and actually get to be part of this community. And if you have subscribed as well to this channel, I truly and deeply thank you. Thank you so much for being part of our community. See you next time.